So I'm a professional photographer that photographs the everyday people. When I say the everyday people, I mean not professional models. And with that, one of the biggest objections I get from my clients during their booking calls is, David, let me lose 10 pounds first. And to that, I always responded, dear client, you can always come back whenever you're ready. I'll be here for you. And that is what I used to tell them until recently I did a photo shoot for myself and it changed everything. Now I'm gonna be really vulnerable with you about an insecurity I've had as a kid, and that was being scrawny. You see, growing up as a millennial, society and media told us to be beautiful. For girls, they needed to be skinny. For guys, they needed to be muscular and big. As a teenager, as a middle schooler, I had skinny arms. You could see my ribs. And the biggest insecurity of mine was having what we call in Korea, segasm, which directly translates to bird chest. I'd be so skinny that you'd be able to see the sternum and the bone that was right over here. I remember as a middle school boy growing up in Hong Kong, watching Hollywood movies and actors like Will Smith and Bad Boys. All I wanted to do was wear a tank top and look cool. But from everything from being skinny and having those insecurities, I was also a really pale Korean boy, and I was not gonna let myself see me in a tank top. Even through high school, as I joined the basketball team, the volleyball team, it remained a big insecurity for me. I remember watching my teammates as they donned their basketball jerseys, their volleyball jerseys, they would fill out their uniform and they would look good, while even with the smallest jersey, I would look scrawny. And I would feel the need to wear one of those short sleeve undershirts below my jersey. Now fast forward to college years, I got into a 5-year-long relationship and I went from looking like this to this by the end of the time I broke up with my ex. Now this type of body I had at that time was called being skinny fat. As the name says so, I was still skinny, but I had a belly. I had some fat under my chin. It wasn't because I accumulated a ton of fat, it was just that the muscle to fat ratio was just so uneven. So this was another phase in my life where my insecurity did not get any better. Now, being fresh out of a relationship, especially a relationship where I grew to be dependent on my ex, I started to slowly find my sense of self again. I started to find things to do for myself, and one of those things was working out. Now, I'm not gonna go into the details of my workout and my diet as I want to stay focused on our topic, but I did focus myself on compound exercises to build my muscles. And for diet, all I did was be a little bit more conscious about what I put into my body and make a little bit more healthier choices. Now, having been working out and eating conscious for about 1.5 years, this is where I started out at the end of the relationship to this is where I am now. The progress is something I'm so proud of and was a big reason why I was so excited to do a Valentine's photo shoot for myself. And it wasn't gonna be just any photo shoot. I hired a professional hair and makeup artist, I got new clothes, and I was super excited. And a portion of the shoot I was most looking forward to seeing the photos from was the fine arts part where I was shirtless. I was ready to see the hard work that I put in, and on top of that, the patience and kindness I treated myself throughout this 1.5 year long journey. And I hated the photos. As I clicked through each photo one by one, I tried to comfort myself saying, that's okay, they must get better. 5 photos went by, 10, 30, and all I could see was my middle school scrawny self with the same type of shame and insecurities. I made this impressive transformation that I was so proud of. I felt strong, I felt connected to my body, yet here I was sitting looking at my photos, feeling like a 13-year-old kid again. But just as I was about to chalk it up as a defeat and let my toxic thoughts get to me, I came across this one photo. Something caught my eye, but it was a little bit dark of a photo, so I quickly went into my editing program and brightened up just a little bit. And the moment I brightened it up, I saw one of the most beautiful photos I've ever seen of myself. It was a flurry of emotions. When you see a photo that you can say that you look beautiful in, it's a lovely feeling, but at the same time, I was so confused. I sat there asking myself, how do I go from slipping into toxic thoughts and devaluing the hard work I put in to all of a sudden seeing one of the most beautiful photos of myself? And this is what I learned. I learned that seeing my beauty is independent from my fitness journey. I'm not beautiful because I gained a higher muscle to fat ratio. I'm not beautiful just because I lost 10 pounds. I'm beautiful simply because I am. We're taught to think of beauty as something we're born with or not. Yet for me, I think of beauty as the very fact that you exist and you're breathing on this earth. You are inherently beautiful. Even this 13-year-old naive boy was always beautiful. He just never saw it. This is not to say to stop your fitness journey. This is not to say stop chasing after what you want. Please chase after everything that you want in your life, but know that you're beautiful every step of the way. If you've never seen a beautiful photo of yourself before, it's because no one has shown you. Just like a bad painter will paint you poorly, a bad photographer will capture a bad photograph of you. And many times that bad photographer is ourselves, as we're so used to taking selfies. If you want to see a new you, a good photographer is gonna show you how beautiful you are currently. Now when my clients tell me, David, let me lose 10 pounds first, I tell them, whether you do this today, a month later, or a year later, I'm here to show you how beautiful you are regardless of whether you hit your goals, because you are always beautiful.